Hi.
Hi!
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Kamusta ka,
Kasi,
Taki?
okay lang. Thank you so much na pumayag ka for the
Of
interview.
course! I love your backdrop.
Hi, hello, Pageant Angels! Welcome back to my channel. It's me, again, Rafi. And if you're new to my channel, please do subscribe to my channel. So ngayon, ang ating guest for today is walang iba from Binibining Pilipinas 2020. She is Miss Davao Del Sur, Miss Justine Felizarta. So,
Hi! Hi, Pageant Angels! Ako si Justine FELIZARTA, your Bini 17 from Padada, Davao del Sur.
Davao del Sur. Wow, I'm so happy. And
Yes.
first, I just want to say thank you so much kasi you accept my request for this interview. At saka, it really mean a lot to me talaga kasi you're one of my favorite for the crowns. Here's Binibining Pilipinas 2020. So I'm super, super,
Thank
super
you!
happy. Oo, I'm super happy.
Well, thank you for having me here. I'm excited.
So I want to ask, how are you right now? Kumusta ka ngayon, Justine?
I'm doing good, actually. You know, it's been so long that we've been in isolation.
Mhm.
Now, I think that I've been able to develop a routine and but I've accepted it now. And, you know, we have to go through this day by day. So far, I'm doing good. I'm with friends and family. So, and I'm comfortable naman. So, I can't complain.
Sa mga hindi nakakakilala kay Justine, for those who don't know Justine, who is Justine nga ba? Sino nga ba si Justine?
Justine, oh, where do I even start? But ako, I am born here in the Philippines. You know, both my
Hmm.
parents are Filipino, but I have been able to actually live abroad then. So I actually grew up in Canada. And I think most people naman know that kasi I've been very vocal about being an OFW or being a child
Ah,
of an OFW. And I joined Binibining Pilipinas when I was 2015. So that was my very first run in a pageant ever. Tapos, I decided to go back to Canada after Binibini because I wanted to pursue my education. I wanted to finish it. So that's when I became a licensed medical esthetician because I really
wow.
love anything skin related. And then when I finished that, sabi ko, you know, I'm gonna go back home, give it one last try, and now I'm here, and I'm still
Hmm.
representing Padada Davao del Sur because that's where my mom is from talaga. So that's where she grew up from, and I really wanted to represent the province that took care of my mom, you know, that
Wow.
really gave her the strength and to pay it forward for all our hardworking OFWs, especially mothers. So that's me, and you know, I'm very kalog. A lot of people don't know that. I love to have fun. I love to enjoy life, but there's so many, things that I'm passionate about and want to dabble into as well. But very easygoing.
Love it. I love your personality. At saka, nag-join ka na pala last 2015 ng Binibining Pilipinas. So, kabatch mo si Pia. Tama? Tama ba? 2015.
Yes, yes.
You
Yeah, there's
represented
actually a lot of girls
Davao.
that
Same.
joined then. Yeah. Yes, yeah. Davao del Sur.
Davao del Sur.
And that's where I
Okay.
met my closest friends, si Eliza and si Anne.
I see. Eliza is from Davao also, right? Davao
Yeah, so
City.
she's my Inday box. We call each other
Aww,
bestie.
ang
So
sweet.
yeah, so she's like my sister, and I'm really happy that I get to go through this journey with her, even though different pageants kami. Kasi
Ah,
honestly, it's so hard to go through pageants without anyone that you're close with.
true, 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 true. Laban lang. So, you live the same house
Mm-hmm.
lang ba? Dito sa Manila?
No, but we're neighbors. So isang
Ah,
kembot lang, andun na ako sa bahay niya.
cute. Alright.
Super lapit lang kami sa BGC. Yeah.
Oo nga, nakita ko kasi yung mga pictures niyo eh, your bonding moments with Eliza. Eliza also
Yeah.
is one of my favorites
Yeah.
talaga to win Miss Universe Philippines. Isa din siya sa
Yes, malapit na pageant niya. So,
oo.
support
Support, support,
tayo.
support lang. Excited! So yun, we have
Exactly.
20 major questions. We have 7 questions from your fans. And 3 final questions for you. So total of 30 questions. Ang dami. So so parang Q&A talaga to. Parang
My God, grabe.
this
Parang
practice.
closed door interview.
Oo nga, no? Parang ganun. With chill. Chill
Oo.
lang. Casual. Not too, wag nating super too
Yes,
formal.
let's have
Casual lang.
fun then. Oo.
Oo. First question from 20 major questions. What are your preparations in competing Binibining Pilipinas 2020?
My preparations for Bini, it's changed a lot. Because in the beginning, we didn't know, of course, when this pandemic was gonna hit, right? So we had, from January till March is the pageant activities, and then prior
Mm,
to that, I had at least 6 months to train. But right now, I really take the time to allocate my my training. So depending on Q&A, pasarela, fitness, dancing. There's so many things that you have to really
thanks.
train for. But right now, I think the one thing that I'm really focusing on is my mental fortitude. Because parang
Wow.
everything is on hold. So you have to really control what you're doing right now. You can't overthink. You can't think too far ahead kasi mababaliw ka din eh. So
Totoo.
right now it's doing more so self-discovery, doing what I love and how I can be my best version para I can give more then. And so right now, aside from working out, because of course you want to keep working out, and I know right now I'm really working on my mental strength.
Mm. True talaga.
Mm-hmm.
Kasi hindi din natin in-expect talaga yung pandemya, 'di ba? At saka yung pinaka-importante talaga is yung mental state talaga when you're competing talaga. Dapat yun talaga yung una, 'di ba?
Yeah, exactly. Because it's so easy to get lost in thought. There's a lot
Mm.
of things now. Oh my God, I have to post this on social media, or I am not good at this in my Q&A, or my passerella is not perfect. So when you keep thinking all of that, you're really gonna have a hard time accepting you.
Correct.
So parang you have to be strong. Because it's like you have to remind yourself that you are enough. You're going through a pageant in a pandemic. Like that's something that you should really embrace and be proud of on its own.
True. I just want to ask, are you independent or you have a camp?
I am independent. I do
Oh,
have
same with
several
Eliza.
mentors who are experts at their own field.
Mm,
Yes.
galing.
Mm-hmm.
Mas okay 'yun. Ang galing. Kasi at least ikaw lang,
Mm-hmm.
ikaw
And
yung
I'm super
mag-choose.
happy with the team that I have.
I think kapag you're
Yes.
independent, you are free to choose kung sino
Yeah.
magiging team mo, no? Parang ganon. Ang galing.
Exactly.
Next question naman.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go to our next question. Which part of the competition, which part of the competition do you spend the most time preparing for? Like Q&A, pasarela ba, or your styling? Ano yung nilalaanan mo ng oras, ng time?
The most, honestly, I think it's Q&A.
Public speaking, alright.
Not just because like obviously I want to be perfect or yung parang I want to over rehearse. It's not like that. Like for me, my
Mm,
Q&A that I want to work on is being more vulnerable. Kasi we're here, we have the platform to share our story. And I think there's strength in that when you are able to be vulnerable. And not a lot of girls, it's hard to open up to people, especially when you're new or you don't know them. So I think that's the part of Q&A that I really need to work on. Kasi when you think about it, you don't really spend a lot of time asking yourself these personal questions. That when you're
correct.
given that, parang, oo nga, no, what is my favorite pastime talaga? What is my favorite hobby? Because there's so many hobbies out there. But like when you ask yourself, na parang, what do I really do outside of my work? Or like, yung mga ganon, small things that really question yourself. It seems like an easy question, but the personal
Mahirap.
ones are talaga the ones that are more, you have to think about.
Mm. At saka kailangan mo talagang quick na mag-compose
Yeah,
ka ng thoughts, 'di ba? Parang gano'n. So, Q&A is very important. Public
exactly.
speaking talaga is very important. Tama nga naman. So,
Public speaking and making sure you get your message across. Yeah, that
ito, may
one.
laman.
Tapos, of course, yung mga styling kasi
Ah,
there's different types of style for every girl and how you're gonna stand out. And I'm
correct.
not the type of girl talaga to focus on like myself in terms of physicality, like yung face, like, oh, I didn't notice this about my lips or my cheeks, you know, like there's certain ways that I have to make myself ano, parang stand out in those sense, like to be more Filipina, yung mga ganon.
Correct.
So it's really interesting to me how you can change and transform with your makeup and hair. So that's something that I am also working on and having fun with.
Like experimenting the look, styling through
Oh
through
yeah,
exploring.
exactly. Like it's not easy to put makeup on.
Correct. Next question. I want to know. Tell me more about your advocacy, if you have.
As you know, like I've told you before, na I am a child of an OFW parent. So because I was born here, because I migrated to Vancouver when I was 6. So when I was younger, it didn't really hit me as to why my parents decided to do that. Because then, you know, I was in the Philippines. We had a comfortable life talaga. Like my parents are both pharmacists. They had a business.
Ah,
Thus, we had friends here. We knew people. Tapos, in an instance, they decided to give everything up, you know, to sacrifice all that they had, their dreams, their passions, so that we can move abroad. And the
I
reason
see.
why they did that is because they wanted us to study there, you know, for more opportunities, so that we can have more options when we're
Correct.
older. And the first few months to maybe about 2 years, like I really saw the struggles of my parents. Because we lived in a basement. That was our first house. You know, there were 6 of us. Tapos, ang liit ng bahay, and then they worked mga 2 to 3 jobs just to put food on our table,
Wow.
just to put us to school, you know. They worked super, super hard. And these are jobs that you wouldn't expect a professional would have. You know,
Mm-mm,
like,
mm-mm,
ano, parang, it's out of their realm talaga.
mm-mm,
So then, like, a couple of months, and like I was so young, so we didn't really question it either. We kind of just went along with it. And
mm-mm.
then I realized now, you know, the life of an OFW is really not easy. A lot of people think na parang, oh, you're abroad, so we're gonna, you know, you send the balikbayan box, you send the remittances to your family. Like, that's what they think of us, of
Correct.
OFWs, which is why my advocacy is to really shed light on the realities of their life. You know, like they do this because they love their kids. They do this because they want their kids to have a brighter future, even though they're
Correct.
away from their families, diba? So
Sacrifice.
I wanted exactly, and like there's a lot of issues and concerns pertaining OFWs. A lot of them don't know their rights. A lot of them don't know what they are capable of, you know, when they're moving across the country, or what they should be, how they should be treated, you know. So there's a lot of OFWs here that are maltreated or are not getting paid equally, or they're just stories that like are horror stories. And
Yeah.
for me, it's like I was fortunate enough to never see my parents go through that. But there are cases where, you know, you can't help it, but there are people who are getting treated badly. And that's why I work with an NGO called Center for Migrant Advocacy to really help them with capacity building, so they know their rights, so they know what they can do when they're abroad, and how they can better themselves, you know, with the skills that they have. And
Wow.
hopefully show people that we're more than just remittances and balikbayan boxes.
Correct. Correct. I think OFW is one of the heroes, diba?
Mm-hmm.
And it shows.
Yeah.
And it's a big
Yeah, you know,
contributing.
we do so much to for our country.
Correct.
Um, exactly, yeah, and we have so much contribution here, and I think they deserve so much more recognition than what we give them.
Correct. That is exactly. And I love your advocacy. It's like rare. It's like new because you know some of the
Mm-hmm.
advocacy is like common, but now I think it's very important. I think it's also relevant, especially nowadays in pandemic. There's a lot of OFW
Mm-hmm.
who come back here in the Philippines because of the pandemic, right? And also I
Yeah,
think the big issue,
exactly.
and I think the big issue is the human trafficking, right? The OFW. I think that's the
Mm-hmm.
one issue.
Exactly, yeah. So there's a lot of issues actually with OFWs, but that's why I love being with the NGO that I'm with right now, because they really educate me on what's happening behind the scenes, what most people don't know, and how I can use this platform to help, you know. So a lot of it really comes to capacity building and really telling our OFWs, or the ones who already experienced, what they can and like what they can do.
Why did you go back to join Binibining Pilipinas instead of joining other national pageants?
Because, you know, once a Bini, always a
Always the
Bini.
Yes, correct.
But yeah, because like the first time, I joined was Binibining. And I really like what Bini stands for. Of course, it's the most prestigious pageant in the Philippines, but the fact that you are able to witness the legacy of these queens and what they are able to do because of what Bini was able to give to them, that's something that motivates me on its own. You know, so I also want to pave the way they did. And I think Bini for me is the perfect fit.
Like that. I just want to know, the first time you joined the Binibining
Mm-hmm.
Pilipinas, what crown are you aiming for?
Yes. The first time I joined because they had different crowns. Eh.
Yeah, yeah.
They
There's a
obviously
lot
had Miss
options.
Universe, which was which was the biggest title, you know. And of course, that's what everyone is aiming for. But this year around, I am aiming for Miss Grand International.
Oh my
A lot of
god!
people ask me.
Yes, I love it. Go.
Yes, like I really, that's the crown that I've been eyeing ever since I started. So the fact that Philippines has never won a Miss Grand crown either is a bigger challenge and a bigger motivation as well.
Wow.
Na parang if I bring this home to the Philippines and if I actually make this happen, like this is the greatest gift that I can give back,
I
you
have
know, and just like just to
goosebumps.
bring back
Ah,
happiness and joy, especially at this time.
so happy that I heard that you want Miss Grand International. And who never knows, you will be the first Filipina who will get the first ever Miss Grand International. And you will be
Yes,
back, and Philippines will be back on the game because we're unplaced for 2 consecutive years. And if you will send to Miss
yes,
Grand
that's the
International,
goal.
if you send in Miss Grand International top five, Philippines will be back on the top five again. You know what? I see a
Yes,
little bit.
that's the ultimate goal.
I see a little bit like Elizabeth Clancy. You know her.
Yes, I get that a lot. Like, you're not the first person to say that.
Yeah,
And I think that's obviously a great compliment because she represented Philippines
she was
in
third
Miss
runner up.
Grand.
She did very well. She was third runner up.
Exactly. Yeah, so that's a good compliment for me.
And
But
when
yes, I
and
do get that a lot.
and I love your diction, the way you speak. I really love, it's shows that you're very spontaneous and very articulate. And you sounds like Rachel Peters, Miss Universe Philippines
Uh,
2017.
wow, all these comparisons. Nakakakilig naman.
That's true. That's
Let's hope and pray. Lalaban lang talaga ako. But you know what? Any crown, as they say, is already such a big honor.
oo, yes naman. Yeah. Pero that's your first
Yeah.
that's your first choice naman, 'di ba? The Grand, the Grand
Yeah. Miss
International.
Grand International.
Oo.
Exactly. Like I
Yes.
researched it, I watched the pageants. I really like the stage presence that these girls have,
Yes.
what they stand for, and you know the places that they travel, which is and I really see myself there.
Important. You see yourself there. Yeah. Yes, that's the most important one.
Exactly.
Yes, and that's why you're
Yeah.
very passionate. And we know naman they have a lot of, but despite of controversy, we have like a dramas. There's a lot of dramas about Miss Grand International, and some of the Filipinos don't like Miss Grand International. But we still,
Mhm.
some of Filipino, we still love, Grand International, including me. I already interviewed Miss Grand Thailand contestant last month. I already interviewed because I also followed Miss
Oh,
Grand.
nice. Yeah.
So, next question. What is your favorite part of being a beauty queen?
Ooh, my favorite part. You know, this whole journey has been such a whirlwind, just being a beauty queen. And I never grew up thinking, like, oh, I want to be a beauty queen. That's my ultimate goal in life, you know? Like, that was never something that I thought of. But when I first watched 2012 Binibining Pilipinas, that's when I wanted to really give it a try. And when I first stepped onto the training and yung mga small, parang the training that we had, it's no joke here in the Philippines. You know what
Correct,
I mean? It's like
correct,
people undergo 6 months to a year of
correct,
training.
correct,
So
correct.
that's where I really learned how they molded a beauty queen. But for me, I think my most favorite part talaga is the self-discovery that you get. because this is very challenging. A lot of people don't actually know what we have to go through, but you learn so much about yourself, like what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are. And there's so much support that you are able to actually know who you are better and become the best version of yourself, whether it's like makeup, kaya ko pala to, or walking,
Correct.
or Q&A. And then the people that you meet along the way, it's like I have met my closest friends in the beauty pageant industry, and that's something that you can't take away from these girls, because these experiences is what brought us together. So that's
Correct.
definitely what my favorite part is: self-discovery and meeting these new people.
Correct. And I think naman kapag, you're competing in the pageants, you grow, 'di ba? You grow talaga, lalo na sa sarili mo talaga, personally. Talagang nag-grow ka as a person and ang dami kang nade-discover talaga. Next question is, what kind of day will describe the best day in your life?
The best day in my life is April 25 because it's not too cold and not too hot. Char. I don't know if
Char.
you watch
Correct.
the best day in my life. I am super simple. Like, the best days that I've ever had is always spent with the people that I love. Wherever we might be, whatever we might be doing, as long as I'm with my family and closest friends, I consider it a really, really good day.
Correct.
Like, for me, I really value quality time, kasi right now it's so hard to
True.
get quality time from people because you're either busy from work, or there's just so much other responsibilities that each of us have, that when you give that time or your time to others, it's so special to me. So my
Correct.
best day is always consisted of, being with my friends and family, eating good food, going outside, hiking, whatever it may be. As long as I'm with them, it's never a dull moment talaga.
Correct. At saka kahit simple things lang with your family, talagang na-appreciate mo talaga siya, ano? Na-appreciate mo siya.
Yeah, even if we spend time at home, like sometimes me and my family will just have movie night at home. Every Sunday, we'll have dinner, tapos we'll go to church, and then we'll play a game or we'll watch a movie. And that's something I look forward to in my week. It's so simple, but it's something that you don't get very often.
Correct.
So for me,
Correct.
it's like, oh, it's almost Sunday. I get to have family time or friends time. Yeah.
Iba yung moment. Iba yung moment. Talagang priceless talaga siya.
So yeah.
True. So, next question is, what are some assumptions people usually make about you?
Assumptions,
Mm-mm.
that I don't eat. How dare they? Charot.
Why? Because you're very sexy, kaya
uh,
ganon.
I think it's because, when people find out that I join pageants or that I model, the first thing they ask me is, do you eat, or what do you eat? Yung parang they think that we have this small bubble of limitations lang that we can do to look
Correct.
like this. I'm very blessed kasi to have obviously good genes. So I thank my parents for that, first of all. But I think the biggest misconception is, na parang I try to be perfect all the time, because beauty queens, they think we have to be perfect, so that we can do no wrong. But in reality, I have so many flaws that obviously, like, people don't know about. Like, my skin is not perfect like how they see it to be. I make mistakes, I eat a lot that people don't know. So there's times when I'm not mentally strong or physically strong. So I think that's a really big misconception, na parang, oh, she's like, she's perfect, or she tries to be perfect, or like that, because of what she does. But little do they know.
Because sometimes kasi pag sinabing parang, you're a beauty queen,
Yeah.
it's like intimidating, right? Because you're so perfect, di ba? Parang ganon.
Mhm.
Na-intimidate sila. True.
I know, but I think that puts more pressures on, it puts more pressure on
Pressure.
us. Kasi
Oo.
parang, oh my God, this is the image they have for us. Tapos, in reality, it's like at home, like all our closest friends and family know who we really are. We're really loud. We love
Correct.
to, enjoy ourselves. We don't always wear makeup. Sometimes I
Mm.
prefer to be in yung mga gym clothes as opposed to yung mga dresses. Yung mga
Correct.
ganon.
So,
And yeah, and I think that's why it's nice when people get to know you on a
mm.
deeper level, because you get to actually talk about who you are, what you're passionate about, what you do for fun. Yeah.
Kasi pag sinabing beauty queen, you're so like formal, pero hindi nila alam kalog, di ba? May mga ganon. What did you learn during this pandemic?
What did I learn? That I'm not very good at cooking.
Me too. Same. Ang
You know,
hirap.
there's so many people that like are baking, that are doing their side businesses, which I love. And I thought that I could be one of them. Na parang, oh, I can follow a recipe. I can do this too. Oh my God, I've tried and I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but maybe it's just not my skill to cook. I'm very good at
Yeah.
eating. So I'll give
Correct.
myself that.
True, true. Mahirap
Yeah,
talaga. True, true. So yun. Next question.
exactly.
Next question naman is, what do you think is the biggest misconceptions about beauty pageant?
Beauty pageants, again, it's going back to people think that we're perfect and that we're just a pretty face. But
Correct.
little do a lot of people know now, we have a lot more to offer. If you actually look at these girls who join pageants, they have professions, they have degrees, you know, and they have a lot to offer on the table than just having a pretty face. Because, first and foremost, it's a beauty pageant. So it's a given that you have to have the standard of beauty. You know, there's requirements, it's a job, right?
Correct. It's a
So
job.
and you have to have the confidence to join a beauty pageant. Exactly. So the things that people don't know about us is how the strength that we got here, you know, like what our upbringing was, how, like, what we're passionate about, why we pursued our careers, things like that. You know, there's a lot of things that a lot of people don't know. So that's sometimes it really bothers me, because when people think like, oh, you're in a beauty pageant, so what makeup do you like to use? Like, it's really not just like that, you know. So that's why I think I like where the beauty pageant, like the direction they're going towards now with the advocacy
Correct.
and being more vulnerable and being more real when it comes to being on screen. Like, even if I have flaws, I'm still gonna rock it and own it on the stage, you know? And that's
Like
what
that.
inspires people. I mean, that's definitely what inspired and empowered me to keep joining, you know, to give it one last try, because of how these girls are really carrying themselves on and off stage. And they stand there now. I don't care what people say, this is who I am.
Like
So, and
that.
that's something that I really, really, really empowered by.
Empowered by. Like
Mm-hmm.
that. Pang-winner yung sagot mo, ah. Galing. Like
Thank
it.
you.
True. And that's true talaga. It's not all about beauty talaga. Kasi there's a lot of beauty queens na professionals
Mhm.
talaga. They have like degree. And also nowadays, beauty pageant are involving na siya.
Exactly.
They are like
Yeah.
advocacy. So yun. They have like voice. What is your opinion on critics saying that pageants are outdated? Do you believe in that?
Well, I would ask them, when was the last time you watched a beauty pageant? And then I'll go from there.
Some of them are they're not pageant enthusiasts. That's why they say.
Yeah, I think people base their opinions on beauty pageants because they watched one pageant or because they watched Miss Congeniality. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think that's where they form their opinions. And that's not true, you know. Like, if someone, like one of my friends, like, actually most of my friends don't really watch pageants in Vancouver. It's not that big in Canada, as big as it is
Mm,
here. So they're really new to this pageant world, so they're always like, why do you want to join a pageant? What's so good about being a pageant? Isn't it just like parading in a swimsuit and you're being objectified and all that? They have all these critiques, and I always tell them, have you watched a pageant? Have you seen what these girls can do with their title and their crowns? Then you can talk to me.
correct, correct, correct. And it's that's not true. Not true talaga.
Exactly.
Diba?
Yeah, it's like so many of these candidates, even just candidates, they've accomplished so much outside or inside their community with this platform, you know? And what more if you become a winner? You have more of a voice, you have more power to really do what you want, to really influence whether the youth, for environmental reasons, or something that you're passionate about for your advocacy. And you can't, you know, not a regular person can just do that, to be on stage and do all the things that we do. So that's definitely something that I would tell these critiques.
So next question naman
Mhm.
is, how would you feel if you are competing against women who have undergone plastic surgery?
You know, I would be okay with it. Again, this is a beauty pageant, and as much as we want to say, you know, I want to embrace natural beauty, you can't control these things. You know, if that's what makes them happy, then I say go for it. But for me, I'm always embracing natural beauty. And I think there's a lot of strength in owning what you have
Yeah.
and telling people that this is my flaw, but I'm going to rock it,
Correct. Correct.
And I've always been someone who's for natural beauty. But again, if you have undergone surgery and I competed with you, that's what makes you happy. That's what
Exactly.
makes you beautiful. Then I will support you as well.
Because
Yeah, because at
soon,
the end of the day, winning a
correct.
beauty pageant, yeah, and like winning a beauty pageant is not just on your looks. You can be confident because you are smart, because of the way you carry yourself, and that's how you can win. So it's not the only thing that will justify your winning stance. Like honestly, there's so many ways to enhance without
Mm-mm.
going through surgery. There's makeup, there's
Correct.
obviously like different tips and tricks on how you can
Contour.
enhance
Yeah.
your beauty. Exactly, yeah. Again, to each their own.
Correct. Correct. Correct.
Yeah.
So, next question is, who is better teacher in life, success or failure?
The best teacher in life. They really go hand in hand. You can't have success without having failure.
Correct.
And whoever succeeded without failure, I need to meet this person because I got to give it to them. It's like all the most successful people in the world had so many mishaps, have had so many rough patches, and that's what made them successful because they never gave up. They learned from those failures or lessons and mistakes, and they turned it around to make it their strength. So I think the best teacher is really having both and embracing it. If you fail, try again. Don't give up, and like keep learning from it and until you get what you want. So both definitely, like I think failure is a great teacher because you really know how you're going to get back up. It's either you're going to let it affect you or you're going to say, oh, I'm going to turn it around and make myself better or learn from it.
Nice one. Oh my God, I like it. Palaban. True. True. So
Yeah.
I
So
relate.
it's how you deal with it.
Correct. Correct. So next question is,
Mm-hmm.
have you always been confident or have you ever struggled with self-esteem?
Sorry, can you say that again?
Right. Have you always been confident or have you ever struggled with self-esteem?
Oh, I look confident most of the times on social
Correct.
media. But obviously, I think everyone has gone through self-esteem issues. I definitely have my own insecurities, and that's what makes me human. I'm not perfect, and I own up to it. But that's something that I keep working on because if you set such a high expectation for yourself, then that's when it can get really negative. So with insecurities, I really try to have self affirmations. Not every day I'm going to feel like a queen. Not every day I'm going to feel like the most empowered woman out there. And I have to always remind myself that you're doing your best, that I am enough, and every day is a learning process.
Correct.
So I think you just have to really remind yourself. Like for me growing up, I grew up in Canada. So there's so many diverse parang ethnicities. And being a Filipina, a lot of people would ask me, oh, you're so dark, or why do you have such black hair? And I look quite different. So that also gave me my insecurities. But then I found a way to be like, okay, you know what? I am different, and this is what attracts people to me. So I'm going to
Correct.
figure out a way that I need to make this as a way to make me more confident. And that's how I got into modeling because people were like, oh, I like your skin color. I like your hair. Those differences is what makes people want to work with me. And I think the more I was able to accept myself for who I am, these insecurities start to slowly fade away. But of course, like we all have insecurities, and it just depends on how your mindset works and how you're gonna convince yourself otherwise
Yourself.
that you are enough, that no one is you. Yeah.
Mm. And I think
So
if you think
yeah,
that's
it's a
flows,
process. Yeah.
correct. And if you think that's flows, then embrace your
Hmm.
flows. Your flows what makes you beautiful.
Exactly. Yeah, and like there's this saying that I really like. It's like your flaws could be somebody else's prayers. You know what I
Mm,
mean? So
right.
something
Great.
that I don't like,
True, true.
somebody else might be praying for. So I always think of that. I'm like, okay, I'm dark, but somebody, like, I have friends who are paying so that they can tan, you
Okay.
know? So it's so baliktad.
Oh.
And, or if you had straight hair, you want curly hair. So you will never
We
be
have all
content.
differences. We have all difference. Yes, correct.
Exactly. So it's really just accepting yourself and constantly reminding yourself that you are you and that you're good enough. Yun lang.
Like that. I love your fighting spirit. Super
Thank
palaban.
you.
How
Pang Miss
old are you?
Ganda.
How old are you na ba? Ilang taon ka na? For
My
20?
real age or
Yes.
charata?
Real age.
26.
Ah, okay. So this will be your,
Mm-hmm.
ito na ba yung balak mong ano, last pageant or,
Yes, I'm hoping, I'm really hoping to get one of these crowns entitled
yes.
because I feel like this is the age and this is the time for me. So, yeah.
And I'm praying you will get one of the crown and for Grand International to win the first ever golden crown.
Yes. Oh my God.
Let's
Yeah,
pray.
that's the goal and that's the dream.
Because
Thank
I
you.
mean, you're very spontaneous and very articulate, and I love your fighting spirit. Next question is, what is one thing your mom told you that you will always remember? Hi to your mom. Hope she's okay right now.
Hi to the original Inday,
Die.
the Queen of Padada.
But that.
The one thing, my mom's strength is something that I've always admired. I have no idea how she does all these things and act like it's so easy, like a lot of things don't affect her, but I know it deep inside na parang she's fighting. But
Mm,
I think that's where I get my fighting spirit from because she's gone through a lot in her life just to put us to where we are now.
mm,
And it's because she's so strong mentally, physically, emotionally. So she's always telling me na parang nothing in life ever comes easy. You have to work hard for it. Don't change yourself for anything that you want because you can succeed in your own standards.
correct.
Yeah.
That's
So she's always
correct.
reminding me just, be yourself and enjoy life then, right? Because what's meant for you will happen to you talaga.
I like that. And your mom is very supportive
Mhm.
sa journey mo.
Yeah, super support. She's my best friend. I'm not gonna lie.
Ay,
I always talk to her. Like if I don't hear from her for about 2 days, 2 to 3 days, I panic. Kasi parang, oh my God, mom, is everything okay? Yung parang ganon. But my mom just has such a light spirit. And parang, even when things are down, she's always reminding me, anak, okay lang yan, if it's not for you, it's not. Just work hard for it. Do everything you can before you give up. But never give up on yourself, never stop
correct.
believing. Ganon. She's so motivating and she's just there to listen then. So that's why I can tell her pretty much anything.
Oh, so sweet. Tama nga naman. Iba talaga yung love ng parents. True.
Yeah.
So, yun.
Yeah. And she's from Davao. So she's always like putting me in my
Wow.
place.
Correct. The Inday, the real
Yeah.
Inday. True.
Exactly. Yeah.
Next question is, what is something that you're most proud of?
Something that I'm most proud of. There's a lot of things that I'm proud of, finishing school, being able to provide for myself and for my family as well. But right now, I think something that I'm really proud of is being in this pageant in a pandemic.
Mm. Correct.
Not
It's
a
not
lot of
easy.
people can do that. And
That's easy.
it's really not easy because you're trying to compete, you're trying to put your best self out there, but then in a pandemic, you're in isolation. There's a lot of limits, and then you have a lot of time to yourself to think, and parang the uncertainty of it can also deteriorate you. But
True.
I think because I have the support of so many people and that I have the love of my family as well, na parang it makes it bearable. So something I'm really proud of is being able to just, go through this pandemic, be in a competition, and at the same time, still try to stay sane.
Like that. True. Kasi it's like first time in the history na magkaroon ng, 'di ba, pageant tapos nasa pandemic pa. Talagang, 'di ba, ang hirap. Hindi ganun
Yeah.
kadali.
It's hard because at the same time, it's like I want want to help, like there's so many people out there who need help.
Mm-mm.
Like my province, my province has gone through an earthquake, has gone through
Oh,
many types of adversity just this past year. So it's like, for me, my concern is really like, how can I help with or without this platform? I want to be able to help, in any way I can. So that's what I'm trying to put my focus in as well. But having to juggle all of this, you definitely need to know and be strong mentally.
true, true. That's true. Tama nga naman. By
Mm-hmm.
the way, your mom is
Yeah,
your mom nasa, ano ba siya, nasa Canada yung family mo or nasa Padada sila?
they're all in Canada, so we're
Ah,
having a
okay.
long distance
Pero
relationship.
may pero meron ka pang family sa Padada. Meron ka pa rin.
I do, yes. My mom's side is there, so my lolo is there, and my
Mm,
mom's siblings.
mm,
Tapos here in Manila, my dad's side is here, so they're in
here.
Quezon City. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yun. Next question naman is, do you think social media is a positive or negative thing?
It's both. I think a lot of people forget the good things that come out of social media. It helps us connect with people from all over
Mm,
the world. You can educate yourself through social
social.
media. And I think the only way it becomes negative is if you allow it to. Let's say Instagram. If you keep scrolling, of course, these people are going to showcase the best of themselves, or most
Correct.
likely they will. So it's, if you look at a person that you idolize and you want to be her, then that's when it becomes negative, because you start comparing yourself to all these
Mm,
people.
mm, mm.
And I think it's all about self-control. When it comes to social media, it can get quite toxic, so it's also healthy to step away from it, to log out if you really need to. But it has its perks. It's done a lot of good for all of us, because we are aware of so much news because of social media. And I think you can't let it consume you. Know your limits. And if you feel like it's becoming negative, step out, log out, and get yourself back on track. hmm
True,
but
true.
with everything, there's positive and negatives. But with social media right now, I think everyone's on social media. That's all we do, maybe 50%, if not more. So you really have to know yourself to stop when it's becoming too dark. And
Mm,
don't be afraid to parang just log out. Like, it's for your own well-being talaga. Especially as beauty queens, we feel like the need to always be on social media to keep updating. And it's tough sometimes, because what you want to put out there, you don't want to be negative. We want to
correct.
spread positivity. So, but if you're not feeling it yourself, you're not really doing yourself any good either. So
Mm.
yeah.
True, talaga totoo nga, at saka it depends on how you use the social media talaga. Bad
Exactly,
things or
yeah.
good things. Like for example, I think it's social media it is more in positive. Like for example, we talk like this, it's more, we have an
hmm
interviews, we
yeah,
get connected with,
yeah,
someone. So and I think it's very
yeah. I
more
think
in
the
positive.
greatest thing about social media is connecting people. you know
Communication, yeah,
so it's
true.
definitely something that is a pro. But again, with the negatives, just make sure that you're not comparing yourself, or you're not
Correct.
using it for the wrong reasons.
Right. Because
hmm
there's a lot of negative like bashing, cyberbullying, body
Yeah,
shaming,
and it gets so
trolls.
toxic. It's easy to comment because you're behind a screen. So that's why it's like you really have to know yourself to filter what you want to hear and what you don't want to hear, because you're going to come across these things, and it's up to you to not let it affect you.
True, true, true. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
So the next question is, what is the biggest life lesson you've learned after competing Binibining Pilipinas 2015?
The biggest life lesson is keep going. Even though you did not get what you expected out of anything, like let's say Binibining Pilipinas, you just keep going. You use that experience as a lesson to make yourself better. And everything happens for a reason. So I just kept
Correct.
working on myself, and I found my passion in skin health, and I decided to pursue it. So the licensed medical esthetician. So it depends on your outlook in life. So the biggest life lesson I got is never give up, and to just keep going for what you want.
Correct. That's true. I believe in that saying that everything's happening for a reason. Correct. Correct. So,
Exactly, yeah.
this will be the last question for 20 major question before we proceed in your fans question. So, the last question
Major
is
talaga.
yes,
Okay.
what is your advice to all the aspiring beauty queens? Mm,
My advice, it would definitely be invest in yourself. You
mm-mm.
know, make sure that before you join a pageant, that you know what you stand for, so that nothing and no one can break you. Because there's a lot of people who will put their opinions in your face, who will
Correct.
try to change you, but you have to know yourself well enough now. Even if you don't like what you hear, you will filter everything that you want. And because you know who you are, it's easier to put yourself on a pedestal, So
Mm,
for me, it's really about investing in yourself, investing in what you want, because pageants are no joke talaga. And once you're
correct.
in it, you want to give it your 110%. But if people are taking away your energy, it's really hard.
True,
Yeah.
true. Drama. That's true. It's
So
really
yun,
hard.
and don't forget to have fun either. Because like
And
we're
just,
all human. We make mistakes, right?
mm,
So don't just have fun because this is a once in a
don't push
lifetime
yourself too
experience.
much.
Ask like what's your secret? And I always ask like how do like what is your advice for me? Like all the beauty queens that's already made it. And most of them would tell me is just enjoy, have fun and enjoy the journey.
Correct. This will be the five question from your fans. Nag-ask ako doon sa
Tan-tanan.
Instagram. Sa Instagram, nag-ask ako about you na meron tayong interview din
Oh,
sa
okay.
YouTube community
Okay.
ko. First question
Mm-hmm.
is, the Philippines has become a powerhouse in the pageant world. What do you think are the main reasons that made this possible?
I definitely agree with that. We are one of the powerhouses in
Oh,
the pageant world. Not gonna lie, I gotta give it to the
yes.
Philippines. But I think it's because we're really proud of who we are as people and as country, and I think that's why we thrive so well. A lot of people have a really limiting picture, I guess, of what the Philippines is. And that's where we get our fighting spirit. We want to prove to people that Filipinos are not what you see on the internet, are not what you hear only. And that's what pushes us. And the fact that we have so much support from our country is really empowering as well to the candidates to make them do better. So I think
Uplift.
that's why we become such a powerhouse because of our people and the support that we have. We're proud of who we are, wherever we came from, and whatever we may be, we will raise our flag talaga.
Oh,
And that
well.
shows a lot of confidence on stage.
Yes, true. We will raise our flag. That's true. The support, and I think it's very
Exactly. Yeah.
big impact that I think the big impact also is the support system of the pageant funds. And it's
Mm-hmm.
the beauty queen like it's like boost their confidence and uplift them to do well in the pageantry. And I think it's very true.
Yeah. And yeah, exactly. Like support goes a long way because it really shows that the girl that's standing there is carrying her whole country,
Oh yes,
right?
correct.
So when it's backed up with the people who are passionate about it, then it makes it more worthwhile as well. And to give it their all talaga.
True. Next question. Do you think the winner in beauty pageant is chosen before the finals night?
Do I think the winners are chosen? With pageants, of course, they have all these activities that
Mhm.
will determine what they're looking for, right? I don't necessarily think that my winner now before the finals
Favorite.
night
I
because
think favorite.
yeah, it's really hard to say talaga, because some girls bloom on the finals night or some, they really change. But the thing is that like there's press presentations or mga prelims, and I know from there they already know in their mind the people that they want to push through, let's say top 10 or top 5.
Mm.
And until the finals night, that's when I think they'll really see the winner because again, like what I said, a girl can really change during the finals night. But these activities, these pre-pageant activities, are there for a reason because it shows a girl's strength in interviews, walking, and the judges get to see who they really are behind the scenes. So they already have they already have people in their head that they want to see on that top 10 or that top 5. And then they battle it out yung mga final Q&A na. And that's when they'll really determine who the winner is.
Correct. I think the real competition is in the finals night. Next question is, Beauty pageants usually choose their winners based on beauty of face, figure, and intelligence. If you could add a
Mm-hmm.
criteria on to pick the winner, what would it be and why?
If I can add a criteria,
Yeah.
I think it would be someone's character,
Ah,
because again, like
correct.
you really
I
can't
agree.
see a girl's character with just their physical attributes or by their wits, because you can study Q&A, anyone can sound intelligent, but with someone's character, that's how you know a true person's intention and where her heart lies. So how they treat person backstage, how they treat their co-candidates, these are the things that people don't see, but it makes such a big difference, because you want to work with a winner that you can, that knows will be kind to people on and off stage, that will be treating everyone equally. And I think that's something that should be added in the criteria.
Criteria, I think. Yeah, the character
Mm-hmm.
or the behavior, the attitude. Because attitude is
Exactly. Yeah.
everything. Correct.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Exactly.
Next question. Who is the former beauty queen that you're looking up to and why?
It's always gonna be Pia for me. Like
Ah,
I was able to,
your
yeah, like
batchmate.
I was, yes, and the reason why is because I was able to see her hard work and everything that she's gone through to become the Miss Universe Philippines on its own, right? So the fact that she joined 3 times, she still kept going, and no matter what was thrown at her, she kept fighting. And even when she won, she never really changed as a person. Like what you see on screen or what you see on your Instagram is what Pia really is,
Correct.
But you really want to be friends with her. She's not afraid to be who she is, even though she's like, kalog.
A
She shows
lot.
that side of her, right? And it just makes you feel like you can still reach out to her. And I think that for me is what makes her so inspiring and someone I really look up to. Kasi she doesn't change who she is, even though she has that level of parang fame or whatever she has now because of the winnings.
True, true. Parang naging authentic lang talaga
Mm-hmm.
siya, 'di ba? She's very humble,
Yeah, and she
stay
works
humble.
so hard for everything talaga.
Such an
Yeah.
inspiration talaga. Correct.
Yeah, exactly.
So, next question. This will be the last question from your fans. Describe a modern Filipina.
Describe a modern Filipina. It's me, Char.
Correct.
Just a modern Filipina is someone who is not afraid to go after what she wants. Because if you're gonna be comparing the Filipinas back then, of course they're a little bit more conservative, you know. And right now, the modern Filipina is someone who is not afraid to be who she is, despite who her partner is or what she can achieve in her life without them. So if you can stand on your two own feet and break barriers, that to me is a modern Filipina, because it shows a lot of strength to know who you are and to go after what you want, even though people are telling you not to. Get that paycheck on your own, get your own business. And that's something that a modern Filipina will strike for me as.
Correct. Correct. The modern
Mm-hmm.
Filipina is fierce, strong,
Exactly.
tama.
Exactly. Yeah, na parang this is who I am, like take it or leave it.
Correct. Correct. Kumbaga
Yeah.
may voice sila. They have their own voice. They're not
Yeah,
afraid to speak
exactly. But at
out.
the same time, they still, yeah, and they still know their values as a
Of
Filipina. That's the
course.
difference. So I think the only thing is that, like, they know what they want and they go for it, but
Mhm.
still have their values.
Correct. So next, this will be the final three questions. Oh my God.
Top three na tayo.
Top three na
We made it to
tayo.
the top three.
Of course.
Before
We're,
mag-holding hands na tayo.
Oo. So yon. First question on the final three question. Top three
Mm-hmm.
qualities that you think the next Binibining Pilipinas queens should possess. What are the three qualities?
The top three qualities that they should possess. Okay. First and foremost is you should be proud of who you are and where you come from, because nothing and no one will change you and your story talaga, and that's something that you have to keep pushing for. You have to have the heart to serve not just the Filipino community, but of course everyone out there who wants who you want to change, or for the better, and someone who's willing to work hard. So I
Yeah,
think
correct.
those are the qualities that a queen should possess, and something that I have.
Correct. True. Tama.
Mm.
Perfect. So, next question. Complete the sentence. I am Binibini because
I am a Binibini because I represent every Filipina.
short but meaningful. True.
Yes, yeah, and
Next.
like I just want to elaborate, like, kasi, it's parang, Filipinos, we've all had our struggles, but we always rise from these struggles. And I think with my experience of going abroad and having to experience what we did 360, we really rose above the challenges. And I saw the struggles of Filipinos abroad and in the Philippines as well. So I think, and that's why I say I represent every Filipina.
Be Filipina. Aww, so happy for that. True. Next question. Why you should win Binibining Pilipinas 2020?
Like the saying goes, you get what you work hard for. And I think I've put my heart, mind, and soul into embodying a Filipina, into making sure that we raise our flag, but to also look out for others. I work hard to be able to know and empathize for what everyone is really going out there. And I have the heart to serve talaga. So I
Aww.
want to bring the best version of myself so that I can help communities out there, aspiring beauty queens. And, I think being vulnerable as well is what will help me to become the next Binibining Pilipinas queen.
It shows talaga na maganda yung purpose mo for the crown. I am with you and I will support you. I like it. Ganda.
With the pandemic going on, I think that with the pandemic going on, like we really need this type of hope and inspiration then. So that's why pageants right now are more relevant, because it goes to show now, even though these things are happening, we still want to pursue our dreams and that we're not going to give up.
Of course. We keep moving. True. That's true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
And I have question. And I have this will be the very last
Mm-hmm.
question. Why you should win the Miss Grand
Okay.
Philippines 2020? Why you should win the Miss Grand Philippines 2020? I want to hear your answer.
Why I should win?
Miss
Because I think I am the perfect fit to bring home the Filipino crown with my confidence, my strength, and the fact that I am able to bring such a wider perspective of what being a Filipina is. I will bring my modern Filipina to the stage and show them the strength that we have even in this pandemic.
Oh, and you will get the first crown, the golden crown for the Philippines. Yes, I'm so
Yeah.
excited. Let's claim it.
Thank
Ano,
you.
let's
I
claim
hope
it.
so too.
Yes, yes. Just enjoy the moment and believe yourself. Yun lang naman yun. And you can get it. And it shows talaga na palaban ka. And
Yeah.
when you enter the
Yeah,
Q,
that's true.
and you know what? When you enter Q&A, you will get the crown. You will get the crown. Trust me, you will get the crown.
God, that makes me
Yes,
so happy.
you will get the crown. Just
Thank you
enter
so
the
much.
Q&A.
Yeah.
Just enter the Q&A. You will get the crown. I'm so
Yes.
excited.
Thank you so much for
Oo.
inviting me here and
Of
asking
course.
me these amazing questions. Nahirapan ako sa some of them. Sabi ko, oh my God, ano
Ha, hindi naman halata nahirapan ka. You're very confident nga. At saka napaka-spontaneous mo, no? At saka hindi. Ang galing. Talagang panlaban, you deserve. Your passion,
Thank you.
your heart, your passion to serve people, truly deserve a crown. You really deserve a crown. Say on.
Aw, thank you so much. Yes,
Nagpapa,
like I'm really praying.
nagpapa-quick shout out pala sa'yo yung friend ko. Super fan siya ni Eliza at saka sa'yo. Si
Yeah, of course.
Dave Beramendi. Dave Beramendi.
Sige. Hi, Dave Permente. Thank you for supporting me and Inday on behalf of the Indays. Thank you so much for your support, and I hope you're doing well right now. Hope to meet you soon.
Mm. Yes. And you too. Sana magpa-picture ako sa iyo soon. Mamit kita sa personal, sa mga activities mo.
Yes, oh my
Oo.
gosh.
I'm so excited and
I
I will
know. Sana
support
na
you.
when it resumes, hopefully, yeah.
Oo nga,
Thank
no?
you so
I will
much.
go to Araneta to see you. Mm-mm.
Yay! Thank you.
Yes.
Saan ka, where do you live? Are you in Manila?
Asay.
Ah, you're in Pasay. Si Miss
Oo.
Pasay.
Miss Pasay. Miss Universe Pasay.
Yes.
Oo. Kasi you know what? It's very
So,
memorable. It's very memorable kasi sa akin yung number 17, Binibining 17. Because last year, I supported Binibining 17. And she was Patch Magtanong. And she got the
yes, I
crown.
know. Oh my gosh.
I love
Yes.
it.
Tapos si ano din, di ba? Si Atisa. She was also
Atisa.
17.
And now you will get a crown.
Mm.
You will get a crown, okay? And I will support
Yes, I
you.
know, like you're gonna when you have vision boards or you keep saying it, parang you're always reminded that this is the end goal. So
Totoo,
for me,
totoo.
it's really good to have like a visual board or a vision board and just saying it over and over in my head.
Correct. And Grand International and Grand Philippines is perfect for you. True. Palaban. You know what? I really love your looks. Lalo na kapag naka-hairstyle, straight hairstyle ka. Super powerful.
Yeah, I really like my kasi like
Hairstyle. Oh my
it's so
God.
simple, tapos it's so
Oo.
Filipina, you know.
Filipina. Oo. And also your color.
Yeah,
Love it.
thank you.
Hope you will
Yeah,
continue until
I
the
like being
finals.
simple kasi like wearing makeup for me. Yes, yeah, this is definitely something that I'm thinking about. Yeah.
Mm. Yes, super ganda. I love it. And I think you came back more strong na, super strong na. Talagang nagbalik ka talaga ng
Aw, thank you. Yeah, I'm
yes.
just gonna keep fighting. I'm gonna keep
Yes.
getting better and keep that fighting spirit talaga.
I can't wait. We will support you until the finals. And
Please follow my journey on my social media, Instagram, Justine Felizarta, and also on my Facebook, Justine Felizarta din. And
oh,
feel free to shout out or message because usually
mm.
I'm pretty good at replying. But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you
Yeah.
so much for everyone's
Thank
support. I
you.
really, really appreciate it. I see it all. I see it all, and it makes me happy talaga.
Uh, because we are at your back, we will fight for you. We'll cheer for you. One of my favorites. Go for that Miss
Yes.
Grand Philippines
Thank you so
crown.
much.
Yes. So
Yeah.
really
Sige, claim na
happy.
natin to. And I will
Oo.
remember this interview. Yeah. When it happens,
Wow,
like, I'll
thank
remember this interview.
you. Remember this
Of
April?
course.
Tama. Complete the sentence. I am
Okay.
Justine Felizarta and I am
Miss Grand Philippines 2020.
Yay! Let's
Or
claim it.
2021 ba?
Oh, 2020 or 2021.
Yes.
Tama,
Yes.
tama. All right.
Yay.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so
Thank you
much.
so much. We will support you. Just enjoy the
Sige.
show. Oo. Okay.
Yes. And ingat
Ah,
always, ha?
oh,
Take
kayo
care and
din.
stay safe.
Hope to meet you soon in person and hope kapag makita na kita, may crown ka na. Alright?
Yes.
Oo.
Yes, yes.
Oo.
Praying for
I
that.
believe in you. I
Thank
believe
you,
in you.
Rafi.
Thank you. Thank you. Stay
Thank
safe.
you,
Stay
thank
strong and
you.
healthy.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
You